I want to talk for a couple minutes about the difference between humility and being humble. Some people think it's the exact same thing, and I'm here to tell you it's 100% not. So, humility is acknowledging that you aren't always going to have the right answers at the right time, right? You understand that you do not control everything. You are not Oz. But being too humble also means that you don't have an ability to accept recognition. You don't have the ability to realize not everything is your fault and sometimes people just mess up. But if you are too humble, this is ultimately, it could come off as a negative connotation where you look in other people's eyes as weak. Don't. We want to be humble, but you want to have humility. You want to understand that, yes, thank you for all the praise. And I want to stress what my team did in accomplishing this goal. You're talking to me, I'm accepting it, and I want you to understand the key players in this. Humility. Humbleness is like, I don't want praise. The team does everything. I'm guilty of this. And it's something that if people say, well, what is one of your weaknesses? One of my biggest weaknesses, honestly, is accepting praise. And how do you do that? You put the and at the end. You allow the person to say, Chris, I think you're doing really good at X. Well, I appreciate that. And I want to point out who on my team actually is doing the groundwork for it. And I want them in order to get that praise. Or you bring them along on the journey. You're on that call with them. You're in that room with them. That's humility. Being humble is showing it off. Like, don't worry about it. It's just who I am. You do that too many times, and the leader that's trying to give you praise is just going to assume that you don't want it, and they're going to move on. It feels good to accept praise. Be humble to a point. Make sure there's an and at the end, unless you are the only one doing it. When you get to be a certain level, you don't do a whole lot of shit. You manage the people who manage the people who manage the people who actually do it. Make sure that the different ranks get the recognition. That's humility. Being humble is refusing. Don't. Thin line, and it takes a lot of practice. But be a leader and understand the difference between the two, and humility wins every time.